never met no one who talk like that. And if you hang up on a nigga, bitch, I call right back. Roll my windows up, dollar rolling windows up. Biscuit ass niggas want.
How to master the Fairycore aesthetic. Although the style originated in 2020, fairies themselves are not new and can be traced all the way back to the 13th century. Fairycore is a whimsical, nature-based aesthetic, is feminine, includes lots of pastels, and is all about adding sparkle into your everyday life. Many Victorian women were also a part of the fairy fandom, probably because fairies embodied everything that they couldn't be, aka wild and free. And how do we dress like fairies? Flouncy purple tops with flower embroidery and lots of shiny jewelry, lace-up heels, chiffon skirts, and a fairy wand. Green slip dresses with a ribbon in our hair, floral belts, nude shoes so we look barefoot, and grassy bags. Add flowers in your hair, sparkly makeup, gingham poof dresses, and of course, fairy wings. Now go make friends with the forest animals and find a flower big enough to sit on. What aesthetic should we cover next, guys?
3 tips to incorporate Fairycore into your everyday outfits. The first tip has to be layering. Layering is what's going to take a simple outfit like a pair of jeans and a t-shirt and make it magical. I've started off by adding this corset, which helps create shape and a pop of colour. Then I've thrown this bell sleeve crochet cardigan on top. Personally, I love bell sleeves for Fairycore looks because I just feel like they're really whimsical. And then don't forget the details. I like to use purple amethyst inspired waist beads, add some interest to the bottom half of the outfit. And then I've got these cute fairy wing earrings. And then for hair I've also added some butterflies and ribbons in. My second tip is to incorporate obvious fairy patterns and images into your outfits. This top has a clear fairy with a skeleton for a darker edge. You can get as complex or as simple as you want with this. This vest has a cute little mushroom detail. And then my skirt is full of like clouds and moons, which I just think is really pretty and to me just screams fairy vibes. Here I'm wearing this really cute butterfly print dress in my favourite colour, which is purple, and I've thrown that cardigan on top as well, but you could just wear it without. I also tried adding this butterfly skirt, which again just adds even more butterflies, even more cute Fairycore inspired imagery, and you could tell I was really feeling this outfit. I would probably wear this out, maybe without the cardigan. My third tip is honestly corsets, and corsets can change an outfit. See this cute simple white dress? I've added a corset and it's just kind of taken on a completely new different vibe, new lease, and it just feels very cute. I'd probably save this outfit for the summer rather than right now in the miserable UK winter. And also don't forget to have fun with a colour palette here. It's like a darker outfit with a black corset, a maxi skirt with a thigh split and some long sleeves, and I think this is really cute. And corsets don't have to be for your fancier outfits, also just throwing on with some jeans and a t-shirt again just creates a really sweet outfit. And my final tip that I can't really show you through clothes is just have fun. I personally have a fairy self, which if you've ever listened to my music, you've probably heard her voice pop up before. It's very high pitched and I call her Fairy Aqua. And when I get dressed, I like to think of that character and incorporate that into some of my everyday styles. There's no one way to do Fairycore. I see people posting like earthy tones, pastel tones, dark tones. There's so many different types of fairies, so why would there not be so many different types of ways to embrace Fairycore and incorporate it into your everyday style? So the number one tip, the most important of all, is just have fun, enjoy yourself, and if you want to live in a mystical, magical realm every day and you want to incorporate this into your style, then go ahead. Who's stopping you?
How to master the fairy grunge aesthetic. This is a newer aesthetic, but it originates from fairycore and grunge. It could also be seen as an evolution of kinderhore, but with much more of an ethereal vibe. It doesn't cost a lot to dress this way either. You can find most of these pieces in your local Goodwill, and this is due to its grunge roots, which is all about rejecting the norm in fashion. But Ange, what do we wear? Corsets. Fairies don't need to breathe. Nightgowns. Each look should have a feminine touch. Fishnets, leg warmers, a big cozy cardigan, leather boots, bonus points if they also have a platform, oversized shirts, long skirts, short skirts, ripped tights. This style isn't meant to look neat. Fingerless gloves, knee socks, the more layers the better. Add a sweater that looks like it belongs in your dad's closet. Don't forget your fairy wings and make sure to hang out in the woods with all of the gnomes. What aesthetic should we cover next?
Making fashion aesthetics office ready, Fairycore edition. To make Fairycore office ready, we're going to be focusing on pastels, butterflies, pieces with an ethereal edge, and of course, the vibe of springtime. Starting with tops, this from Acne Studios is the entire vibe. It is gorgeous. The pleating, the sleeves, it's everything. However, anything with a long pleated elongated sleeve is a winner in my opinion. Another direction is to go for cardigans which have pleating and ruffles on them. This one here is a great example from Blue Marine, which has this very whimsical nature to it. For Fairycore, I'm also loving blouses like this, and this one is from Zara. I don't know if it's just me, but this green leather suit is screaming fairy to me. I think that the leather somehow gives it that extra oomph, paired with the green. Anyway, this whole thing is gorgeous. Moving on to skirts, I do really like this one here from Lioness. This comes in a range of pastel colors, so it's got a color to suit everyone, and it does have that kind of ripped, ethereal, fairy woodland feel to it. If that last skirt was a little bit too out there for your office's preferences, I'd definitely be looking for something like this for Fairycore, or something like this with a very subtle handkerchief edge on it. In my opinion, anything with a handkerchief hem on it is very much giving fairy, and it's very much giving Tinkerbell to me. If you really want to go the extra Fairycore mile, I cannot recommend these pants enough. They are Lenny the Label and they are from The Iconic. Accessories play a huge part in office Fairycore, so I do like hair clips like this which have that little butterfly on them, but most of all I love these. Now you might have already seen these on TikTok. Essentially they are a butterfly hair clip, but they are on springs, and so the wings actually move as you move. They are so ethereal and I'm obsessed with them. Now you can get these pretty much everywhere now, AliExpress, Shein, Temu, all of that. For shoes, I think these are absolutely gorgeous, especially with the little butterflies on them. But in reality, you can make any shoe a little bit more Fairycore with sheer socks like these. Now, these ones are from High Heel Jungle, and they have a huge range of tights and sheer socks, which would definitely give that Fairycore vibe. So please check them out because they are gorgeous. Don't forget to follow me and let me know in the comments which aesthetic you'd like to see next.
We're doing Fairycore today. Fairycore. And I'm no Fairycore expert, but the girlies wanted it, so I have to do it. I haven't fucked with yellow, so we're gonna do some yellow. Y'all already know, lather that shit on. With the ColourPop palette, I'm using this color right here. We're just gonna blend that all over like so, like that. We're gonna go in with this darker goldeny color next. And I'm just kind of patting and blending that. I'm gonna put my finger in this little glittery. I'm gonna go in with this glitter too because I feel like it's not as shimmery as I want it to be. All right, that's it for the eyes for now, but let's get to the face. We're gonna add a blush like right here. I've never tried this before, but it's looking really cute. I'm just trying to keep it like right here. Adding the freckles. I think I overdid it, but it's okay. Adding some highlight right there. This is where the magic happens. I want to add more to it, but I'm scared I'm gonna fuck it up. I don't know. All right, baddies, this is the finished look. What do we think?
Day 1 of trying new aesthetics, I'm trying out the grunge Fairycore aesthetic. The point of the series is to get myself to create new looks with the things I already have in my closet and to allow myself to explore new styles. I say that, but then here I am wearing my Doc Martens. It's literally like a celebrity spotting when you see me wear something other than Docs. Now, I don't have any crystal necklaces except for this super small one that I got when I was in high school, and then what's a Pinterest aesthetic without some braids and bows? Despite these shortened clips, it actually did take me a few minutes to get the bow just right. The trick is to tie it twice or else it'll just fall apart. They're really fragile. And it kind of reminds me of someone else I know. Let me know what you think and what aesthetic I should do next.
Let's talk fairies. Most of us are picturing our favorite childhood fictional characters like Tinkerbell or super popular baddies Bloom, Aisha, and Flora from the Winx Club. But when and where did these mythological creatures actually come from? When fairies were most common, people rarely called them as such. They were mentioned as little people or hidden people, and some people even linked them to being ghosts, spirits of the dead, or fallen angels, not good enough for heaven or horrible enough for hell. Now, the oldest record of these beautiful beings comes from the 13th century when they were mentioned by an English historian by the name of Gervase of Tilbury. Now, there are many different types of fairies according to those relics, roughly around 23 altogether, but they can be split by 3 different categories, which are Sprite, Water, and Fae. Now, when it comes to Sprite, they're depicted as more like elves than actual fairies, so they have a lot of elf-like characteristics. Now, water fairies are depicted as food suppliers, so they help nourish the crops, but they also have a little bit of a dark side because they're mentioned to take lives. So they blend a little bit of beauty and betrayal all together. And lastly, fays, which are immortal and known to be very horrifically scary to mortals altogether. Now, fairies are said to help you if you ask them, and they find you worthy. Ways to get on their good side are to be cautious of the environment and the creatures inside of it. Let us know, do you believe in fairies?
Come watch me do my casual fairy makeup. So first I do concealer and then set it with some translucent powder. Then I take my Glossier blush and kind of put it just everywhere. I really like doing some chin blush lately. I also put it on my lips and on my eyelids. I take the Fenty contour for my nose and add some fake freckles. Blend them out, of course. Then I use some glitter freckles as well, and some clear brow gel, contour my nose a little bit more. I like to define my aegosal and highlight it, and then I do some white waterline, and then some glitter in the inner corner, my eyebrows, more glitter, and then of course mascara, more glitter. And then here I'm just going to do my bangs. I like to curl them, especially when they get too long. A little bit more lip gloss. And then is the fun part where I take some eyelash glue and give myself fairy ears. Yeah, so that's a look. Thanks for watching. This is my first voiceover, so please be nice.
Fairy Princess Makeup Tutorial.
All right, day 2 of casual everyday fairy core. Let's go. All right, so I took out my night braid and then I started doing these little twisties around my face. And then I also twist larger portions of the hair outwards and hide that with a bobby pin. And then I was like, you know what? I need some ribbon in my hair. So I took it off this bag and then I sort of liked this, but I wish that the ribbon was a little bit longer. That would have been the vibe. Anyways, it was onto makeup, and I always pull outwards with this, and I do the same thing with my blush, and I also put it on the tip of my nose. Now, I do gotta wipe the finger, and I do a light eyebrow and a light nose contour, and then I was like, oh, eyeshadow time, because I get nervous about this. I experiment. And this is pretty, light today. I wanted to keep it light and shimmery and cute. That's right, with some under eye eyeliner, and I pull that out as well as the mascara out, and I do a little bit of lip liner with eyeshadow, and then I put on a white flouncy shirt, and ta-da, that's Fairycore. Enjoy.
It's come to my attention that the TikTok girlies need to learn how to sew. So go grab your sewing machine. I'm teaching you something, okay? My friend Paulina and I are having a little summer solstice party on Sunday, and I really wanted to rewear this top I made for Lost Lands. I made that out of all scraps of fabric. I don't have that fabric anymore, but I do have scraps from other things that I've been working on. So I told Paulina, let me make you another shirt, similar like two-tone situation, and we still have like moss and leaves and stuff like that. So it will look similar, but in a different color pattern. So let me show you how I do it. Okay, so I cut out a triangle top and then a little flounce, and you can do this by just like tracing your swimsuit and adding seam allowance. Seam allowance just means you're cutting a little extra off that edge so you can sew that together. So I cut 2 of each color to layer them together and sewed the triangle top together and added the elastic for the top. You can use fold over elastic or you can make some straps out of the fabric that you're using. Next, I finished the edges by just serging them, but if you don't have a serger, don't worry about this part. You just have to sew those 2 pieces together. Okay, so after sewing the triangle top to like the little bottom flouncy part, when you open it up, it should look like this. Next, we're gonna create a little channel. We're gonna do this just by turning this upward, and you're gonna sew right at the edge of your fabric. If you have a serger, where you serged it, that's where you're sewing. After creating the little channel, we're feeding elastic through those channels to put this top together. I do this by putting a little safety pin on the end of my elastic. I feed it through my little top and then easily pull it through. Once that's pulled through, you have a little top. How cute is this? I kind of want to wear these colors now. Paulina might have to wear the green. Okay, so here's what it looks like on my gal. And now it is time to pin some of these fun things on there and hand sew all those babies on there. There is no method to the madness. You just kind of place things where things feel right and look right. You're gonna pin all your goodies on there. Once you like the placement, you just stitch that down. And here's what mine ended up looking like. I just want it to be really light and a little bit random, kind of like a garden.
My girls who read the Flower Fairy books when they were younger and now read solely romantasy. But genuinely, I just love these romantic kind of fairy tale looks, this color palette. And I'm going to show you guys how to recreate it. I'm going to prep my skin with the iconic London Underglow Blurring Primer. I really want the complexion to be quite natural and have sort of like a blurred quality to it. So I'm going in with the Dior foundation stick. I wear the shade 1.5C, softly sculpting the face with a little bit of the Westman Atelier Suntone bronzing drops in the shade Soleil Parfait 1. Having kind of a blown out, really bright center of the face almost gives you that kind of doe-eyed angelic appearance. So I'm using a concealer that's quite bright for me. It's the Lancome Ultra Wear All Day Concealer in the shade Ivory Warm. For blush, you're kind of going to apply it mostly along the temples, really high up on the cheekbones. I'm using the NARS Afterglow Liquid Blush in the shade Orgasm. This one's really pretty because it does have a little bit of gold reflex in it, so it acts as a highlighter as well. Pat McGrath Under Eye Brightening Powder in the shade Light, just underneath the eyes to set. Now for the main event and what really inspired this look. It's the new Pat McGrath Mothership palette. This is called Petal Morphosis. I also just have to show you guys this, but they dropped off this insane bouquet of like preserved flowers with the eyeshadow palette, and it made my whole week. If you're looking for another kind of fairy-like lavender palette, this one from Lisa Eldridge in the shade Betty, it would also be great for this look. I'm first gonna pick up this matte lilac shade, and this is just gonna kind of be our base. I'm gonna start along the outer corner and then just kind of blend it up and outwards towards the temple, almost into the blush slightly. Also take the excess and kind of blend it inwards towards the top of the nose area. I'm going to take a little bit of this dark green shade to also lay underneath the rest of the look, focusing this more towards the lash line. Okay, kind of a color combo I wouldn't expect to combine, but you could stop here. This looks so pretty, but we need to do some shimmer. I'm going to spray a flat top brush with a little bit of setting spray. First going to dip into this kind of lilac shade, and I'm going to use this along the inner corner and the brow bone. Next, with this shade, I'm just going to kind of fill in the gaps on the lid area. I'm going to add some slight depth to the lash line with the matte lavender shade we used in the beginning. I'm actually going to use some brown mascara just because I feel like it's going to pair really well with this color palette, and this one is from Westman Atelier in the shade Le Brun Clean. We're just going to finish out the face. I'm using this lightest shade from the palette as a highlighter for my nose, extra on the inner corner. I'm even going to tap it along the high points of my cheekbones. Westman Atelier Blush Duo in the shade Fizz and Jam. I'm just taking this lighter pink shade and kind of going over top, again close to the temples. And now I'm taking the deeper shade, and this is just going to go right underneath, kind of as like a little bit of a contour. You might be thinking you want to keep this lip nude, but I actually love how a lot of these references pair these lavender tones with like a brick toned 90s lip, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm lining my lips with this Farah Hamidi liner, and this is in the shade Minky. And then the Violette FR Base Dew Balm in the shade Moncherie. And here's the final look. I am obsessed. I feel like this is a really great way to wear color without it feeling super over the top. You could obviously tone down the blush, but I feel like the eyes create a really beautiful kind of like soft watercolor effect. Comment down below which look you guys want me to do next. Bye.
I'm sick of being human, so I'm gonna turn myself into a fairy today. I actually filmed this look last night on my back camera. I cannot get that shit right. I look weird, number one. Number two, I think I can do the whole look better, so let's go. Doing a bleach brow moment with this. I feel like it just gives ethereal. So far, I'm kind of giving the Joker, but it ties together in the end, don't worry. I'm gonna do my skin first today, which I never do. I did my eyes first last night, and it just didn't blend together properly, so I think this is gonna make the ultimate difference. Going for that super dewy fairy skin. Lightly carve out my face with Makeup Forever Endless Cacao. I want a little bit of structure, but I don't want to give like wearing a lot of bronzer. A little House Labs concealer. The base to be really light, so I'm doing my best. Why do I feel like I look kind of good like an alien? No! Everyone's gonna disagree with me in the comments, and that's okay. This Kosas Candy, because I'm gonna have a really pink under eye. We need to get into the eyes because I can't look at myself like this. Going in with this mint green color. And throw this in the inner corner and blow it out. Bring it down in my inner corner too. This look is gonna be really bad until we add shimmer. It's just fair warning. Going in with Zest. Kind of like the last guy I talked to. Like the center shade. Crazy with the pink. I'm really excited for this part. Do it at the inner edge, and I'm literally gonna drag it all the way out to my temple. Are you starting to see the vision now? Like it's kind of a look. I'm starting to look like I'm having less of a psychotic break, so. I added a white liner the last time I did this, and I'm gonna try it again. This is Urban Decay Cream Pencil because it's a lot better over color. I don't know if I want to though. I think I like it like this. Like this. On my sex life. You know, wait, it's kind of cool. I just know I don't want to wing this time. I think it'll look hole in the inner corner. Road Piggy and start to blend that kind of into the eyeshadow a bit. This is starting to look way more cohesive. House Labs highlighter to go all over the blush. This is where things start to look up. Actually gonna use my finger. Shimmer is what ties everything together. It's like a really cool purple reflect in it. Take this blue white one, like it just makes everything so much better. It has like a slight green tint to it, so it's perfect. I'm already liking this look so much more than the one I did last night. I'm glad I refilmed this. Really spiky Amazon lash clusters that I think will tie everything perfectly. Tried gluing these Ardell lashes on. I looked a mess. Full lashes don't look good on me and I'm jealous of the girls who can do it. That just made the ultimate difference. Giving kind of anime in a way. White glitter all over my cheekbones too. Lips, I'm gonna use Piggy again and mainly place this in the center. This look is very like anime inspired to me. Then I'm gonna take a little red right in the center. Kind of look like I bit something. Setting spray to give me some life back. The look is so good. I'm just gonna add some gems because I didn't do that last time and I really regretted it. Out here? Question mark? I don't really know. I think that adds so much more to like the weirdness. I think I successfully transformed into a fairy. I like this version of the look so much more than the one I did last night. I'll put a side by side, you can give me your opinions. I feel like all I'm missing is little elf ears and like maybe some flowers, but either way, this is so cool. I hope this gets you guys hyped for Halloween because boy, am I gonna turn out looks that much.
No one who talk like that, and if you hang up on a nigga, bitch, I call right back. Roll my windows up.